discover that this one will worth living.
At the Father's House International, Pastor Rex Chosen called on Nigerians, irrespective of religion and tribe, to reflect on the goodness of Christ.
The biggest challenge in Nigeria today, I believe, is lack of love. And, Jesus Christ said, you will always have the poor amongst you. So the problem is not poverty. The problem is lack of love. Because if those who have love for those who don't have, they will share.
Worshippers were filled with joy and gratitude to God for an opportunity to mark the day.
Jesus did it for us. Let's do it for one another. Let's give others, offer them the grace of forgiveness.
The message of love, peace, and unity. That is the message that Christ has given us in a special, special day.
That we should spread Jesus' love and spread the love that Jesus has for us to others as well.
Christians the world over celebrate Easter to mark the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, which is one of the most important events in the Christian calendar. In London, Bilkisu Abdurazak Oduoye, NTA News.
Still on Easter celebration, Christian airmen and women were not left out as they converge on St. Anthony of Padua Nigerian Air Force Base in Abuja to celebrate Easter, which coincided with the 53rd anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force. Olajide Bello reports that it was an avenue to give thanks and praises to God over the years and also to reflect on the contributions of the Air Force towards defending the country's territorial integrity. The Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, represented by the Chief of Administration, Air Vice Marshal Lawal Alau, says the Air Force places premium on staff welfare and religious balance, attributing the successes recorded over time to God and the selfless service of airmen and women.
Said officials and all Nigerians.
Special prayers were offered for continued peace and stability in the country. The service rounded off activities marking the Nigerian Air Force Week. And away from Easter celebration, guests on Good Morning Nigeria are of the opinion that attaining national rebirth lies in parents inculcating the right moral values and respect for other people's religion in their children. This, the analysts say, will create better understanding amongst the citizen and facilitate development. Lydia Sampson monitored the discussion and now reports.
The guests call on Nigerians to imbibe the virtues of sacrifice, love, justice, equity, and fairness which Jesus Christ exemplified. This, they say, can only be achieved only when Nigerians begin to respect one another's faiths. They challenge religious leaders to always emphasize the need to produce good Christians and good Muslims.
The aspect of it that worries me, and that is particularly important for us in Nigeria, is when religious people use religion to preach hatred of other people, other religions. Then that becomes terribly, practically it becomes almost like a negation of what religion is all about.
Yes, our political leaders have to change themselves to ensure there is equity, fair treatment, and justice in the disbursement of resources that are trusted into their hands.
They both decried parents and opinion leaders who propagate hate speeches, creating misunderstanding and intolerance. The clergymen urged Nigerians, irrespective of differences, to be committed to the project Nigeria. On the other hand, Nigerian youths were enjoined to chart a fresh positive course that will reposition them on the path of leadership. Chuks Akamadu, President, Center for Ethical Rebirth among Nigerian youth, said on Good Morning Nigeria that it is not enough for youths to clamor for leadership positions without capacity to handle the responsibility.
Interest in ensuring that the youth turn out to be morally healthy.
He challenged parents, government and religious leaders to pay more attention to proper upbringing and mentoring of Nigerian youths for the good of the nation. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Jennifer is on standby for Easter celebrations as federal government meets maritime stakeholders. It's over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Tessie. Good evening and welcome to Lagos. Happy Easter. As Nigerians observe public holiday today in line with the federal government's directive to commemorate Easter celebration, Lagos, which is undoubtedly the business hub of the nation, witnessed relatively low activities. Jane Ojukwu visited some parts of the metropolis and filed this report. A visit to some of the busiest spots in Lagos metropolis revealed activities in their lowest ebb. Many offices, both public and privately owned, were still under lock and keys, except for those on essential duties who were seen at their duty posts. Though you can tell that they are not under the usual work pressure that normal working day presents.
The nature of the job requires I'm here today, but the good aspect of it is we have less work compared to a normal working day. The pressure is not as much as when we have it on a normal working day.
The roads were free and devoid of the usual traffic, particularly those leading to the business districts. This also explains the absence of hawkers who ply their trade during gridlock. The vendors and transport operators say the low activity is affecting their business, but they are consoled by the fact that activities will return to their full swing in less than 24 hours.
There's no traffic. I just have 2 minutes before you see we are here 2 hours. Get the passengers much more. No, get us now manage. People coming plenty, absolutely. People not to come. There are times if they say I saw the market they move this time around, you get passengers.
Like the adage that says, different strokes for different folks, while some people would wish that the holidays were extended for 3 more days, others can't wait to wave it goodbye. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
Now, religious leaders have enjoined Nigerians to imbibe the spirit of selfless sacrifice as demonstrated by Jesus Christ, who came to redeem humanity from sin. This was the message at some churches at special church services yesterday to mark this year's Easter celebration in Lagos. Vera Chuba has more.
For Christians the world over, the celebration of the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ signifies victory over death. Some churches in Lagos marked Easter with special church services, with messages of peace, love, reconciliation, forgiveness, and service to humanity in appreciation of Christ's sacrifice for the redemption of mankind. Prelate of Methodist Church described Easter as the foundation upon which the Christian faith is built.
Only be transparent, stay by the truth. Truth will switch away evil, falsehood, and darkness. We learn love of individuals, love of our nation.
It was adoration, worship, and thanksgiving for the risen Christ at Vineyard Christian Ministries and African Church Bethlehem.
If Jesus had died and he had not risen again, our faith would have been futile.
We have to believe that on the last day we will rise with Christ.
Also at the 3-day revival program of the United Evangelical Church, Pastor Ibe Anyam asked Christians to emulate the exemplary life of Christ.
Jesus has finished it on the cross. Look unto him who has done it for us.
The Zonal Director, NTA Lagos Network Center, Chidi Iluka, urged Christians to remain faithful and committed to the service of God irrespective of the season.
We are meant to realize that every limitation, every obstacle has been thrown away and is totally taken away.
The revival program was meant for members to rededicate their lives to God. In Lagos, Vera Chumuba, NTA News.
Away from Easter to the Maritime. Now, the federal government has announced the reduction in import and export documentation process. This is part of the reform being carried out in the maritime sector to reposition it for economic benefits. The Special Assistant to the President on Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, stated this at a parley with maritime stakeholders in Lagos. Ademola Adeoye reports.
The meeting became imperative following the federal government's drive to reposition the maritime domain for efficiency and make it the hub in sub-African region. Some of the measures rolled out include reduction in import documentation process from 14 to 8 days and export documentation process from 10 to 7 days. The measures also include optimized pre-arrival processing, mandatory use of pallet for goods coming into the country, and itemizing of packaging list. The Special Assistant to the President on Industry, Trade and Investment stated that government is concerned with Nigeria's ranking in the Green Business Zone by the World Bank.
We're determined to make sure that this is institutionalized change. So the council is a temporary council. It expires in 2018 because we believe the ownership comes from the MPAs themselves. So we're just along to facilitate and kind of focus attention.
The Controller General of Customs, who was represented, said customs will build on the synergy with other government agencies to realize government's goal.
Trade facilitation usually put is creating an enabling environment for people to do business so that we can collect maximum revenue.
Government agencies expected to work on the reform are the Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Ports Authority, Shippers Council, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and the Central Bank of Nigeria. Officers who were newly promoted by the Nigeria Customs were also decorated with their new ranks. Amongst them, the former Public Relations Officer of Customs, Wale Adeniyi, who is now a Controller of Customs. From Lagos, Ademola Adeoye, NTA News.
Still on the economy, the federal government says it will partner with the Lagos state government in its quest of turning Nigeria into one of the most attractive places for investors in the world. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Okechukwu Engelama, said this after meeting with Governor Akinwumi Ambode in Lagos. Victoria Olabode reports.
The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Okechukwu Engelama, said both the federal and the state governments were willing to collaborate on strategic areas to achieve overall goal of growing the economy.
We've basically been talking about the whole theme of enabling environment and ease of doing business, an area where we have strong convergence between Lagos State and the federal government. The governor and I have been discussing how to collaborate very strongly to make sure that Lagos State is a true role model in the work that and the vision we have of making Nigeria one of the easiest and most attractive places to do business.
In his response, Governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, recalled that in the last few months, the state government had been engaging the business community on ease of doing business, saying that the meeting with officials of the federal government was in sync with the vision of its administration to achieve the very best in driving investment.
The indices that indicate that we're improving on ease of doing business is not really looking too good. I would believe strongly that if 70% of businesses or these indicators are actually coming from Lagos State, there's a need for us to quickly create a convergence between the efforts of the federal government and the state government to make sure that we improve the business environment.
The governor expressed optimism that the current efforts would bring about major improvement on the business environment, adding that such would go a long way in growing the gross domestic product of Nigeria. In Lagos, Victoria Olabode, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide News on NTA Network Service. Back to Tessie in Abuja for more on the news. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too, Jennifer. Thank you. And now to security matters. The theater commander of Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Lucky Irabo, has assured Nigerians that concerted efforts are being made to ensure the release and safe return of the remaining Chibok girls and other captives of Boko Haram. General Irabo, who was speaking on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria program, said so far 30,000 people have been rescued, and that the operation remains resolute on the mandate of restoring peace in the northeast. Lydia Sampson reports.
The peaceful celebration of Easter in the region, Major General Lucky Irabo said, is a pointer to the success of the military operations in the northeast. He said Operation Deep Point in Sambisa is being intensified to flush out remnants of Boko Haram.
I've also said in time past that the Chibok girls incident is a very soft commentary in our historical path. as an operation. They are working assiduously to ensure the release of the Chibok girls and every other person that have been held. But we must also equalize the representations and of these various groupings so that we do not jeopardize the setting as they are currently.
While commending state governors in the region on rebuilding liberated communities, he urged citizens to return to claim their territory. Speaking on bombing of soft targets by the insurgents, the theater commander said, though it will remain for some time, the operation has learned from past mistakes and gave an assurance that frequency will be reduced. He said interagency cooperation has been upscaled for more coordinated and progressive operation to permanently restore peace in the northeast. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris has ordered the dismantling of all illegal roadblocks under the guise of revenue collection for trade unions or taxation enforcement. The order takes effect immediately. Adino Justice has more.
A statement signed by the Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Moshood Jimo, says it is illegal and unlawful for any individual or group to mount roadblocks on the nation's highways or roads for the collection of revenue or enforcement of the interests of such group. The Inspector General of Police therefore directed the police special escort teams in carrying out this order to investigate, arrest, and prosecute any person or group of persons found committing this illegal act. It warned that reports from various police stations across the country indicate that roadblocks created by revenue, tax collectors, and trade unions had inhibited vehicular and smooth movement of passengers and goods across the country. It stressed that such points were mostly taken over and used by armed robbers and kidnappers to rob and maim innocent travelers. The IGP, while imploring on the affected stakeholders to prevail on their representatives or agents to desist from such unlawful acts, also enjoined parents and guardians to monitor their children and wards not to be used under the pretense of employment or youth empowerment.
And back to Easter celebration, Christian Association of Nigeria holds Easter rally in Maiduguri as more returnees from Cameroon received by Borno State government. Let's join Naomi in our Maiduguri studio for details. Happy Easter, Naomi.
Thank you, Tessie, and welcome to Maiduguri. Following the attainment of relative peace, Borno State chapter of Christian Association of Nigeria, for the first time in 8 years, organized Easter interdenominational service at 4 designated churches in Maiduguri. Pauline Kuje-Vana reports that the event witnessed a large turnout of worshippers.
The overflow of worshippers this year has been attributed to the improved security and relative peace being enjoyed due to effort of the security operatives in combating the insurgency. Guest preacher, who is also the chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria, Borno State, Bishop Mohammed Williams Naga, in his sermon, dwelt on the power of resurrection and prayed for leaders at all levels, as well as peace and unity within Christian community and across the country. Other clerics and government officials who addressed crowds at this service expressed gratitude for the support being rendered to Christian community in Borno.
That God in His mercy have seen us through, and we thank the government of Borno State, Kashim Shetima, and the security operatives for they to have come together to combat the Boko Haram. So we are grateful, and we are grateful for the entire people of Borno for peaceful coexistence.
The turnout is really good because just here now, with over 6,000 members attended.
The Christendom are very, very, very happy with the way His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, is attending to Christian issues. And I can say without any contradiction that all Christians have a sense of belonging in Borno State.
The New Testament states that the resurrection of Jesus Christ is the foundation of Christians' faith. Hence this call to hope in the power of resurrection. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kuje-Vana, NTA News.
As the number of internally displaced persons returning home from the public keeps increasing, Borno State government and collaborating agencies have continued to work in synergy towards ensuring the returnees are catered for. Emuna Garba has the details.
town of Bama local government area to receive the returnees from Cameroon Republic, where Borno State Commissioner of Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, Controller Immigration and representative of the Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. According to Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, the visit was to assess the situation and take note of the needs of the returnees and see what could be done to make them comfortable in collaboration with other relevant agencies and organizations, adding that any request made beyond them will be forwarded to Governor Kashim Shettima. He appreciated the military for efforts in safeguarding the lives and property of the people. The acting commanding officer, Major Adebayo, who enumerated the achievement of 152 Battalion, as well as challenges, thanked Borno State government for its support and concern to the plight of the returnees, and requested that the town be surrounded with trenches to checkmate any attack by insurgents. Professor Babagana Umar Zulum assured returnees of shelter, water, and other basic amenities, adding that additional boreholes will also be provided in collaboration with Ministry of Water Resources and clear the surroundings to enable the returnees move to their homes with the support of the military. Immigration officials said the returnees will be screened and registered in accordance with the law. The delegation then inspected Banki Hospital and other facilities in the area. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Borno State government has embarked on surveillance, investigations, and administration of vaccines to avert outbreak of meningitis in the state. Dami Ali has the report.
Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, is known for its excessive heat in the second quarter of the year, which makes life almost unbearable to residents. Following confirmed cases of meningitis in the northwest, north central, and other parts of Nigeria, which had left over 300 people dead, Borno State Ministry of Health convened an emergency meeting of major health partners such as UNICEF, World Health Organization, Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Medicine Sans Frontières, among others, to prevent an outbreak. Borno State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Haruna Mashelia, said currently UNICEF has supplied over 7,000 doses of the vaccine, which is said is a boost to the stock already on ground, adding that vaccination against meningitis is ongoing in 10 newly liberated local government areas of Borno, not captured during the 2012-2013 immunization exercise.
In Borno, so far, there is no outbreak of meningitis. Let me repeat. In Borno, so far, there is no outbreak of meningitis. However, as we are talking now, we have a suspected case of meningitis in Askra Uba. And as we speak, investigation is ongoing to find out whether it's the usual A type or the C type. Once the result is out, we shall, of course, let you know.
Other strategies adopted by the state government to prevent outbreak and ensure effective management are training of health personnel, improved surveillance at border points, as well as involvement of community and religious leaders in sensitization to create more awareness across communities. In the meantime, the state government has advised the public to imbibe hygienic practices, avoid overcrowding, strict observance of hand washing, and that well-ventilated accommodation should be used for sleeping. In Maiduguri, Lami Ali, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Maiduguri. NTA Nationwide continues in Abuja with Tessie. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Naomi. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Let's now take a break. News Nationwide continues in a moment.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Kidney and liver issues are on the rise. Why?
This is monstrous. It's even womanstrous.
Charlatans peddle drugs on the streets as if it is pure water. Why?
I was not new.
Enterprise is for money, not assured and quality service. Why?
My dear sweet professor, am I trying to you so? Oh, yes.
Episode 10, Season 3 of your rib-cracking comedy. Professor John Bull takes a swipe at the scourge of substandard goods in our society.
Fake suppliers of products must be brought to justice before they create a calamitous atrocity in our community.
Keep a date with us and laugh like never before.
Electric bomb!
Showing at 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday on NTA Network International and Star Times.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
Welcome to the new speed of life. Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com. You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956. Jade's Hotels. Welcome to life.
Jesus in the west, Jesus in the north, and the south.
Hello, I'm Cyril Stober. Let me introduce you to my colleague, incisive reporter and vibrant minister of gospel music, Saint Ruben Okada. In the newsroom, we call him the Saint.
Yes. Everywhere you go.
I'd like to invite you to the public presentation of Breaking News. That's a music album by Saint Ruben Okada.
Everywhere you go.
And it's all taking place on Saturday, the 29th of April, 2017, at the Cultural Center, Area 10, Abuja. It's at 4 o'clock in the evening. See you there.
NTA Television College Jos, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, has maintained her reputation of putting together courses that are highly relevant to manpower needs of the broadcast industry. The college has put together 3 core courses for 4 weeks on computer networking for television for the engineers in the broadcast industry. Date 17th April to 12th May 2017. Registration fee 80,000 naira with accommodation. Also, a 4 weeks course on English grammar and pronunciation for broadcasters, presenters, scriptwriters, news editors, journalists, and master compares. Date 22nd May to 16th June 2017. Registration fee 80,000 naira with accommodation. TV College also has a 4 weeks course on specialized reporting to cater for those that want to learn the skills of reporting from judiciary, crime, conflict zones, environment, business, natural disasters, politics, and health. The course will teach you the ways to write and handle stories with peculiar situations. Registration fee 80,000 naira with accommodation. Date 19th June to 14th July 2017. Venue of all courses will take place at NTA Television College, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, contact us on 0806 980 9807 0703 660 7155 or email us at ntacollege@gmail.com. NTA Television College, Jos, training you to be the best you can be.
Welcome back. You're still on to Nationwide, coming to you on the network service of the NTA. Army ends 5-day training in Benin. Let's join Amenze in Benin for details of these and other stories. Hello, Amenze.
Hello, Tessie. Thank you for joining us in Benin. Happy Easter to you. As Christians the world over celebrate the victory of Christ over death, ministers of the gospel in Benin City have called on believers in Christ to re-examine their lives and emulate the virtues of Jesus. Lawrence Okoje reports.
Christians in Benin City rolled out drums to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, who has taken away the sins of mankind and reconciled man to God. The Bishop of the Anglican Communion, Right Reverend Peter Emerson, told Christians to activate the Spirit of God in their lives to change every situation around them. He advised them to also shun evil for good in order to make heaven.
As Christians, we have souls in our lives. Some of those souls were played by us. Some the enemy played those souls. But for every soul that comes our way, it's not God that will roll away that soul. You that will roll away the soul.
At the Habitation Church of God, Reverend Olu Aderibigbe says corruption and lack of love have been the reasons why Nigerians cannot enjoy the grace of God.
It's not the name that matters, it's the belief that the resurrection of Christ that gave back to supernatural power to control the natural.
Reverend Chris Obi of the Light and Love Ministry encouraged Christians to reflect on the resurrection of Jesus Christ and be cheerful givers.
Jesus Christ did not die for himself. He loved us to the end and died for us.
The clergy who observed the significance of the day said, today marks the beginning of Christianity. In Benin, Lawrence Okoje, NTA News.
The judgment delivered by the three-man panel on the 28th September Edo governorship election petitions has been eliciting reactions from the petitioners and the respondents. Steve Lonai Nwokolo has the details.
Governor Godwin Obaseki and the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Chief John Odige Oyegu, say it is a reaffirmation of the mandate of the people of Edo State.
It was a mere affirmation to the fact that Edo people came out and they voted massively for me and for my party.
I congratulate the entire people of Edo State for this confirmation of the will of the people.
On his part, the Edo State chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Chief Dan Obi, and the party's candidate for the election, Pastor Sage Izeyamo, described the judgment as not only perverse, but a miscarriage of justice.
We are going to appeal that judgment. We have discussed with our team of lawyers, and they are very confident that we have every reason to challenge the judgment.
The case was not judged on its merits. A lot of the findings of the tribunal were perverse.
As members of the APC expressed satisfaction with the judgment, PDP members are resolved to challenge the veracity of the judgment at the appellate court. In Benin,
Ibadan has concluded its corporal and below training competition in Benin with a challenge to participating units to sustain the gains of the inter-brigade Esprit de Corps. Mohammed Abdul Kadri completes the report.
The host 4 Brigade Nigerian Army Benin won the first position, scoring 4,600 points to beat 32 Artillery Brigade Akure to second position with 4,400 scores, while 2 Div Ibadan scored 4,360 to emerge third position.
All the things that makes you a soldier, all the things that you have to enact when you are really called to action, those are the things we are able to bring out in this competition.
The GOC assured on sustaining peace and security within its area of responsibility. The competition ended on a very good note without any casualty. At the end of the 5-day training for corporal and below personnel, the general officer commanding 2 Div, however, restated commitment to more trainings for the personnel to prepare them for greater national assignment from Ekenwa Cantonment of the Nigerian Army in Benin. Muhammad Abdel Kadri, NTA News.
That report from Muhammad Abdul Kadri does it on our contributions from the Benin Network Center. We thank you for watching. Happy Easter once again to Tessie and other Nigerians. Good afternoon.
Happy Easter to you too, Amenze. Thank you. Moving ahead, Minister of State Foreign Affairs Khadija Bukar Abba Ibrahim says Nigeria is committed to strengthening its bilateral relations with Niger Republic for the betterment of the two countries. She said this in Kaduna when she received a presidential envoy from Niger Republic, Salamatu Balagoga, who delivered a message from the Nigerian President Muhammadu Yusufu to President Muhammadu Buhari. Ahmad Umar Kudan completes this report.
Nigeria and Niger have long bilateral relations on trade, agriculture, education, and security, among others, for the benefit of the countries. In an effort to improve and maintain such relationship, a delegation from Niger Republic, led by the Nigerian Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, was in Kaduna to deliver a message to President Muhammadu Buhari on behalf of the Nigerian President Muhammadu Yusuf. Nigeria is determined to ensure the two countries benefit each other in terms of trade and other economic activities.
We have the Nigeria-Niger Joint Commission, which is established purposely to further consolidate the relationship between Nigeria and Niger and make sure that any dealings between the two countries are contained within that commission and progress.
The Nigerian Minister of State for Foreign Affairs in charge of African integration and diaspora, Salamatu Balagoga, commends Nigeria for assisting her country on so many issues relating to nation building. She assures that Niger will do everything possible to enhance the relationship through the Nigeria-Niger Joint Commission. In Kaduna, Ahmad Umar Kudan, NTA News.
Joining Kaduna now, Operation View rounded off, plus National Hajj Commission on measures to avert stampede in future Hajj operations. Over now to Zulay for details of these and other stories making the rounds from that zone. Hello, Zulay.
Thank you, Tessie. Good evening and welcome to Kaduna. The need for synergy between the participating agencies to tackle security challenges dominated the discussion at the closing of 2017 exercise Hajj at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jadi. Ahmed Mohammed Usman reports.
For 3 weeks, participants drawn from military, other security agencies, and those not relating to security within and outside the country have been synergizing to find solutions to low-intensity conflicts and other internal security threats bedeviling the society. The exercise tagged Hajj is designed to expose the participants individually and as a group on how to achieve the desired goals in relation to security of lives and property.
It is expected that you must have gained tremendous knowledge from training as well as through shared experiences among yourselves on how to best handle complex scenarios.
Theater Commander of Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Leo Erabo, comments.
Every agency, ministry departments and agencies, of course including the various security outfits, will need to understand themselves for them to be able to achieve a common objective.
Minister of Interior General Abdurrahman Bello Dambazau was represented by Brigadier General Saleh Bala, retired.
The cardinal philosophy of the Buhari administration, as you well know, anti-corruption, security and employment generation, and of course you can't have either of the first two if there isn't a secure internal environment.
In Kaduna, Haman Muhammad Usman, NTA News.
The annual increase in the number of people performing Hajj every year in Saudi Arabia is one of the factors blamed for the stampede in the tent city of Mina during the 2015 Hajj exercise. Attempts to avert such in future exercises informs the decision by the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria to initiate a nationwide awareness and sensitization seminar for stakeholders in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa has the details.
Hajj is an annual journey of faith embarked upon by Muslims from all parts of the world. The continuous increase in the number of pilgrims and being a ritual that holds at a given time and place are a reason that call for new measures to curtail imminent challenges. A case in point is the deadly stampede during the 2015 Hajj.
It was terrible, really. I don't want anybody to experience it as I did. It was terrible. I've never seen death like that. I've never seen it. I don't want anybody to witness it. It's terrible, really.
This informs the decision of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria to come up with new measures, including sensitization workshops, which started in Kano.
And even the National Hajj Commission, in partnering with the Saudi authorities, we have a similar, security committee, so that to take on the security challenges that may arise.
During the sensitization seminar, lectures were presented on contemporary security threats, identification of such, and how to avoid and manage disasters.
By the end of the day, all the issues that are being raised, the questions and everything that are being raised are going to be of immense importance to the intending pilgrims.
The security sensitization will continue across the 36 states of the Federation. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
23 local government areas of Jigawa State have so far benefited from parliamentary additional financing for dry season rice farming programs. National coordinator of the program, Tao Adeomi, stated this while inspecting some rice farms in Kawa local government area of Jigawa State. Habib Hussein reports.
The Padma 3 Additional Financing National Coordinating Office were in the state to assess the progress made in Padma 3 additional financing activities. Team leader Mr. Kaji Tuwari expressed satisfaction with the enthusiasm and commitment of farmers in the state toward dry season rice farming. He described the aim of the program of Padma 3 additional financing as to support farmers improve their production, create employment and reduce poverty in the rural areas.
As you know, the recession we are currently undergoing in the country, the only way out is agriculture. And that is the main thrust, and that is the focus of the present government. And we have the potential here in Jigawa. The land is there, the people are there.
Mr. Kwazi appreciated the effort of Jigawa State government in prompt payment of counterpart funds to sustain the program. State Coordinator Padma 3 Additional Financing Amini Isa Regim said more than 30,000 hectares of rice farms are currently being cultivated in 23 local government areas. He added that this year alone, about 5,000 farmers benefited with various farming implements. He applauded the support of government in sustaining the program and called on farmers to register for upcoming rainy season rice and sorghum program.
From Dusi, Habib Hussein, NTA News.
That's it from here. Back to Tessie for the rest of Nationwide. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too, Zulay. Thank you. Moving ahead, a recent study shows that 12 countries in Africa, including Nigeria, have a suitable weather for wheat production. The research also shows that with rainwater alone, proper use of fertilizer and other investment, Africa will be able to liberate itself from what has been described in local parlance as wheat demand and supply slavery. Are African leaders ready for this? Agriculture correspondent Musa Baba Aliu sought answer.
Over the years, African continent has been producing only about 30 to 40% of the wheat consumed locally by its population. The development is causing a heavy dependence on imports and making the region highly vulnerable to global market and supply shocks. The continent spends about $12 billion annually to import 40 million tons of wheat, particularly for people who live in the rapidly growing cities of the continent. Agriculture economists observed that Africa accounts for only 15% of the global market for wheat, and if the continent does not push for wheat self-sufficiency, it could face more poverty and hunger.
Africa becomes more and more a net importer of wheat from other continents, while we have the land, the people, and the technology to develop and produce in Africa.
With wheat increasingly becoming a key staple in Africa and sub-Saharan Africa as a result of income growth and rapid urbanization, 8 African countries have launched a strategy to boost the production of the commodity. The countries, including Nigeria, Sudan, Mali, Zambia, and Ethiopia, are adopting a drought-tolerant variety of wheat.
And I'm sure with what we see in farmers' field this year, at the end of the season, there will be much, much more than that. We'll be able to maybe achieve 500,000 to 600,000 tons.
We started our activities in 2018. At this time, our national production, 27,000 tons. And right now, today, we have 45,000 tons.
It is in view of this, therefore, that government officials are calling for bolder steps that will immune the continent against international monopoly on wheat trade.
trade policy issue. You cannot compete with countries that are stronger than you that are subsidizing, especially if you don't recognize it. Cost at which produce, particularly wheat, lands in Nigeria does not, in many instances, reflect its cost of production in the countries from which that wheat is coming from. That is what we want all Nigerian policymakers to recognize, so that we will be able to deal with those distortions.
Agriculturists and economists suggest that if the proper investments in wheat production are maintained, African countries could significantly reduce their dependence on wheat imports. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Head of Turkey's electoral body says sweeping new powers given to President Recep Tayyip Erdogan are valid, plus over 2,000 migrants rescued off the Libyan coast. Gabriel Udu has more on Global Tidbits.
Turkey's referendum won by a tight margin of 51% against 48% by the opposition has given the president new powers, which includes scrapping the job of the prime minister, a 5-year tenure of 2 terms maximum, powers to appoint top public officials, ministers, and 1 or several vice presidents, and powers to intervene in the judiciary. Opposition protesters are yet to accept the vote. Elsewhere in North Korea, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence said the era of strategic patience with North Korea is over as tension mounts on the peninsula. And in Libya, thousands of migrants have been saved from the sea near Libya off the Mediterranean by Italian coast guards. Reports say more than 7 people got drowned as aid workers struggled to rescue about 1,500 in one operation. That's Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
Bauchi State Governor Muhammad Abubakar has encouraged elderly people to engage in sporting activities due to their enormous health benefits. He was speaking during the closing ceremony of Easter Badminton Fiesta in Bauchi. Abbas Mekano reports.
As one-time chairman, Bauchi State Badminton Association, Governor Muhammad Abubakar still plays the game of badminton even at over 60 years.